Well, hello and welcome to Jonathan from the Heart. I'm Jonathon Aslay of jonathonaslay.com, and I'm so excited to be doing this short video for you today. Our topic, this quality makes a man bond with you. This quality. Really quickly, if you're brand new to my YouTube channel, please hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so you can be notified of new videos. And if any time during this video the content resonates with you, please hit that like button so I can be seen in the YouTube algorithms. Lastly, these are my weekend videos that I shoot out on my balcony, very similar to the videos that I do in my private group called Midlife Love Mastery. This is a group where you get to have direct access to me on a regular basis, and if you ask me questions in the group, I shoot personalized videos just for you. So check out the link below to my VIP group. So let's talk about this quality that makes a man bond with you. And first, before we're going to go into that, I want to differentiate between the two types of men out there that most of you are dating, and it's the same with women. There's basically two types. And what I say is there's the type that's emotionally healthy and emotionally unhealthy. Let me repeat that, emotionally healthy and emotionally unhealthy. I recently shot a video about the two types of men that make your heart melt. I can't remember the title. By the way, really quickly, I do have a confession. I do have a bit of dyslexia. I read words kind of backwards, and I sometimes say a different word that's in my mind. So it's rather challenging sometimes to watch my videos to see myself make all these grammatical errors. And so I hope you have a little patience with me, because it's a brain deficiency I think I have, because I am rather dyslexic. Anyways, getting back to the story about healthy and unhealthy men. Because the reality is, folks, you know, I know it's very frustrating for many of you, because the vast majority of the human population, men and women alike, have very weak emotional skills at best. Let me repeat that, very weak emotional skills, very weak interpersonal skills, very weak skills at communicating their feelings in a way that can be seen, heard, and understood. Let me repeat that. That's the vast majority of human beings. They have weak emotional skills. In fact, this is one of the reasons why it might seem very frustrating to many of you women out there, because it might seem like men are selfish. And I'm putting my hands like this. It's like they only see in a myopic way, in their own lens. Okay? And this isn't singular to men, this is women as well. It's actually a very human trait to be rather selfish, and not necessarily, you know, being, I'm trying to give an example of it's all about them kind of thing. It's not that, it's just from an emotional level, most humans are rather stunted, so it makes it appear that they're myopic or selfish, that it's all about them. Because the vast majority of human beings haven't really leaned into real deep empathy. And empathy isn't just I can feel your feelings. Empathy is also I care about your feelings. And to take empathy further, it's I care about my own feelings. I care about my own feelings. Okay, that's true empathy. When we can actually embody the feelings of others, caring for others, and also caring for our own feelings. And this is why most humans are stunted, because they do a poor job of caring about their own feelings. In fact, those who know me know I wrote a book centered around this, and it's called What the Heck is Self-Love Anyway? What the Heck is Self-Love Anyway? By the way, there's a link below to my book. You can get it at selflovethebook.com. Why I'm introducing this is a book of personal development, self-help, and spiritual work to begin the journey of shoring up our emotional health, Because as I said before, there's basically two types of men, there's two types of women, the emotionally healthy, the emotionally unhealthy. And sadly, humans spend very little time in emotional self-care. Let me repeat that. Humans spend very little time in emotional self-care. You think about it, we spend on average a couple minutes a day brushing our teeth, taking a shower, getting dressed up, groomed, cleaning ourselves, brushing our hair, all those kind of things, maybe a half hour or more each day in just grooming in the morning and at night. And yet the vast majority spend very little time. By the way, ladies, never do this in front of a guy. So we spend very little time on emotional health. This is why I'm such a big proponent of this. When you watch my videos and I sometimes knock other dating coaches, it's because it's all a lot of dating rhetoric is surface out there. It is so surface that it sometimes makes me want to scream that it's based on the egoic aspects of a relationship and not the deeper inner journey that matters most. Because whether you find someone or not, whether you find someone like this t-shirt, I've got your back, which has the back missing right here in this, you know, whether you find a partner or not, what's most important is you have your own back. You have your own back. This is why I'm screaming at the top of my lungs sometimes when I shoot my videos. And I know my weekend videos are more of my subdued ones. Is I want everyone to wrap themselves up in a blanket of self-love. Because when this happens, and I'm going to lean into this feminine quality, and by the way, I have a disclaimer here. I know I called it a feminine quality in the title of this video. Quite frankly, it's a human quality, what I'm about to share. It is not singular to women. It's not singular to femininity. It is not singular to feminine energy. Feminine energy. Folks, if you follow my work, you know I'm a big proponent of not getting caught up in the masculine and feminine energies and being actually more caught up in your own individual sovereignty, your self-worth, your self-esteem, your self-confidence. And that is not singular to a gender, okay? It's not masculine or feminine. It is called personhood. That is what I'm encouraging more people to view it from a perspective of humanness and not breaking up by the genders. Because this isn't just a feminine quality, this is a quality reserved for every human being if they want to lean into this quality. And this quality that actually makes a healthy man bond with you, is vulnerability. That's right, vulnerability. If you're not familiar with the work of Brené Brown, I highly suggest you checking it out. She wrote this great book called The Gifts of Imperfection, The Gifts of Imperfection. Let go of who you think you're supposed to be and embrace who you are, because vulnerability is actually very intoxicating to an emotionally healthy man, Now you might be thinking, well, Jonathan, how do I meet an emotionally healthy man? Listen, I get it, it's very frustrating. One of the reasons why I became a dating and relationship coach is, at first, was to help women improve their dating profiles. I have to tell you, most women's dating profiles look like crap, and I just wanted to give them the male perspective. That's how I got started in this. What I didn't realize is my journey of becoming a dating relationship coach was really to help women learn how to vet for emotional maturity. And during my journey as a coach, I've amassed over 3,000 hours of personal development work for myself, personal development, self-help, spiritual workbooks, readings and such. Not to mention the 20,000 hours of coaching I've accumulated literally in the last 15 years. So I say this not to impress you, I'm stealing a line from Tony Robbins, but to impress upon you that I study human behavior, because this is the most important piece. And why I'm suggesting vulnerability is that space where a person can truly bond with you. It's because, and I see this distressing lack of wanting to speak up from women. I can't tell you how many women reach out to me seeking advice on how to talk to their guy when they're afraid to even talk about the important things in the relationship because they're afraid he's going to run away. Folks, when I wrote my book, What the Heck is Self-Love Anyway? Chapter 1 is speak your truth, do it with kindness. Speak your truth, do it with kindness. Later on in the book, chapter 9 is if it's sincere and from the heart, you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. Ladies, when you're with the right guy, you can actually be vulnerable. You can be vulnerable. Now, I'm not suggesting you vomit your feelings 24/7, okay? It's about expressing a fear. That's what vulnerability is, expressing an insecurity or fear. And why this bonds you with a man is men tend to want to help men who are in love, okay? Let's differentiate, okay? There's the emotionally unhealthy men, and there's the men who are emotionally unhealthy and not even in love with you. They're just in it because they want the companionship, the connection, and the sex, but they're not in it for something deeper. In fact, many of you are dating men. I watch this over and over that aren't even into anything serious. They just want something casual. And I get the benefit for you is it doesn't require you to be all in with someone you barely know. And I'm not suggesting you merge your assets together when you get to know someone, but I'm here to suggest, and I'm trying to eliminate but from my language, my communication. And yet, many of you are not being intentional. This is why when I created my private coaching, it's all about helping you pre-qualify your prospect to know whether or not you're with an emotionally healthy man or not. And if you need some support on that, check out the link to a free discovery call with me to see if working with a coach is right for you. Because folks, this is what I can help you do. Differentiate between the emotionally healthy men and the emotionally unhealthy men. Pre-qualify your prospect. Because if you're giving your heart to a guy who's emotionally unhealthy and not even in love with you, he's not going to go the extra mile, and he will not bond with you through vulnerability. In fact, the last thing he wants is your vulnerability. By the way, I got this coffee mug from one of you out there. It says good vibes only. Thank you so much. It was so sweet. They sent me a card along with it. Actually, it was my birthday recently, so it was a birthday gift. But many of you have been sending gifts to my company address, which is on my website. I want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Very sweet of you. Let's wrap this up, though. Let's go. Thank you, everyone. I want to wrap this up because vulnerability is also, and this is critically important, so I want you to stay for this. Vulnerability with an emotionally healthy man who's in love with you not only bonds him with you, it also gives him space to be vulnerable with you. Ladies, men tend to be the physical leaders of the relationship, and women tend to be the emotional leaders of the relationship. What I mean by tend to be is my invitation for most of you out there is to recognize that the emotional side of the relationship is what you study way more than men. You're buying way more of the books out there centered around relationships. So men don't understand the emotional mechanics of a relationship. Quite frankly, they don't even understand the mechanics of a relationship. Most men are winging it out there. Most men are winging it out there. Emotionally healthy men who are actually intentional about the process aren't winging it. They've studied, they've read the books that I've read. Well, I shouldn't say all emotionally available men. A big chunk of them have. And ladies, I want you to not feel discouraged. There are good guys out there. There are plenty of good guys out there, and they haven't had to do all the work that I did, not even close. So long as they're introspective, they look inward and say, how can I improve upon my life? Ooh, let me repeat that. How can I improve upon my life? That's what a true introspective person does. And I don't mean improve financially, I mean improve emotionally, because the number one emotional health issue most folks face is I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable, I'm not likable. So an introspective person looks inward and say, how can I improve on who I am as a person? Not improve in the outer word. How can I improve upon myself in a person, as a person? You know, it's interesting. There's a show on Showtime called Couples Therapy, and it's a docudrama. It's not reality TV. And what I love about it, the therapist said something interesting in season 2. She said most couples go to therapy hoping that the therapist will fix their partner. And when, quite frankly, the work is within ourselves. And so I'm here to say, folks, if you want to shift your narrative in the relationship realm, then I highly recommend reading the 2 books I mentioned, along with this book called Nonviolent Communication by Marshall Rosenberg. Nonviolent Communication by Marshall Rosenberg. And why I recommend this book is because vulnerability requires the ability to not only just speak up, and also speak up in a kind way. And this book, Nonviolent Communication, it should have been called Compassionate Communication, will give you the tools to be able to speak up in that very kind way I talked about, so you can actually be seen, heard, and understood by the guy you're with, because that's how an emotionally healthy guy will bond with you, is when you're vulnerable and you lead by example. Is this sinking in? Is this resonating? Please let me know. All right, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this video. Please post a comment below, post a question. I'd like to hear all from you. I do my best to read them all. I may not respond. As always, and if you find value, check out the links below to a discovery call with me, to my book, to my podcast, and even my membership. And again, I shoot videos just for you and my membership. All right, this would be a great place to wrap up today. First off, I'm going to give myself a big, gigantic Jonathon Bear hug of self-love. I'm going to reach into the camera and give you a hug of love, if that's okay. I'm going to ask you to turn to someone, a pet, a teddy bear, a pillow, and give it or them a hug of love, because hugs are a great source of love. And let's face it, we could all use more love in our lives. Thanks a bunch. Bye-bye now.